Alright, so in this tutorial video, I'm going to do a quick introduction on Substance Sampler, but first, this assignment, my model, texture, photograph, and Substance Sampler asset is extended to March 4th at the beginning of class, okay? And this is worth 20 points, so I extended the deadline for this assignment, and also added on another element, which is the exported SBSAR asset material from Substance Sampler that you will eventually use as a texture material for your Maya model. So it's still the Maya model, the photograph of the textile texture, and the actual exported material from Substance Sampler. Okay, so when you open up Substance Sampler, okay, you get this, it opens you up to this window, and you just want to convert image to material. And you're going to want to drag and drop your image. I have this that I just took a picture of my carpet, and then change the category here to whatever the material is. My carpet is a fabric, so I'm going to change it to fabric, and the material type for this fabric is matte, not shiny, and hit create. And we open up to these windows, and you can see right here it's generating, so that might just take a quick minute. Perfect. Awesome. So here it opens up, and what I want to do, not quick actions, oh, not home, project, that's actually fine, I don't need to do it. So immediately, I see the texture comes in as a 2D plane here, and actually on the material here, okay? So for your reference, you have all of these texture maps that make up one full material. Your base color, which is your albedo, your base color, normal, which is these the fake kind of surface detail, right? Which it gets manipulated by the light and shadows, roughness, which is how rough or kind of flat your material looks. Metal is how metal or shiny the material is. Height is the actual changes in geometry if you choose to have any height maps on your surface. Ambient occlusion are your shadows. Opacity is transparency. And scan here is just the actual image. Okay. Just going through some of the UI here. Get content if you want to, browse more 3D assets for Substance Sampler. You absolutely can. Here, you can import any of these surfaces, all things like that. We don't have to worry about that. You can import more assets here, and this is just from your desktop. Perspective transform, that seems to add in another layer. And show grid here, and these are all the seams of our material. But I'm just going to kind of delete this right now because we don't need that. Transform. We'll add the transform points on the actual plane here. Right, you can see I am creating smaller tiles when I'm transforming those. I'm just going to Control C, delete this, and clone stamp. I can kind of draw in lines on my surface. You can see how that affects these. What I can do is I can kind of just scale that part of where I am cloning, right? So clones the entire material where I'm painting. I don't either. Cool. What's mainly important is if you go to add layer here, what's mainly important is the tiling layer, because you don't want to see the repetition in the material. It should be just one clean, flat surface, right? You can see immediately the difference when I add the tiling and if I hide the tiling. I can see all the seams, and it'll just look pretty wonky on my actual model. So I add the tiling there. Okay, let that load. On top of that, there are a ton of other layers to play with. So whatever makes sense to your material, you want to add that. So if you have like a brick wall material and maybe it's very snowy outside, maybe I want to add snow to the material, right? If you add snow, you can generate a lot of cool materials from this. There are a ton of properties always to play around with, okay? And I'm not going to go through all of that, but you can experiment with what you think is necessary. On top of that, we have different perspective views on this channel, different mesh previews on this side. The material here for U and V, you typically want to keep this to the default value. Make sure texture tiling is set to 3. Displacement here, anything you do with displacement will be pretty heavy on the material, so typically keep this also to default. And then light here, you can do studio lighting or anything like that, but this will not actually affect the material itself. You can just see how the material looks under different lighting. Okay, and path tracing will dramatically drop the FPS, but you will get a much higher fidelity lighting outcome. Okay. Now, when you're done with just experimenting with all these different layers that are available, it's cloth weave. Oh, wow. Okay. So once you've had fun with all of the different layers available and made a material that makes sense and responds to your model, you want to go to this export setting here and hit export as. Make sure you title your name, title the name of the material as something. SBSAR is what we are exporting as. Okay, standard material. You mainly only want these for maps, and you can always change the width or the resolution of the map. If you have a very high powerful machine, PC, you want to up this to 4K or 2K. Standard, at least keep it something at 1024 or over, okay? And then you want to export. Other than that, make sure to file and save your progress. Perfect. All right. Again, if anyone has any questions or concerns about anything related to their model, this assignment, or Substance Sampler, please let me know. Keep in mind that also Substance Painter has a pretty wide variety of materials to use for your model as well.